Peace. So I've already pulled the Ten of Wands. I've already pulled the Ten of Wands, and I wanted to make this video about energy exchange. Okay? I wanted to make this video about energy exchange, and as a disclaimer, if anybody uses this information with ill intent, may they be met with the consequences of equal value immediately. Okay, that's just a disclaimer. Anybody that plans to use this information for ill intent, for malicious intent, for manipulative intent, may you be met with equal consequences immediately. Okay, because you know, when you expose how something works, there are people who will say, oh, well, I'm going to use this to take advantage. May you be met with the consequences equally if that is your intent with this information. Okay, so energy exchange, right? When we're in a relationship, like, there's the experience part of it, there's the being in relationship for the experience, and then there's the being in the relationship for the benefits. Okay, and for people who are like living in like survival mode, right, they're more so in it for the benefits, right? Like what comes with, you know, being with another person, be it some economic, financial, or some type of status, social status, clout, just to say you have somebody, you know what I mean? Like all those kind of surface level things. But then there's the being in relationship simply for the experience of sharing your life with another person, and understanding that when you share your life with another person, we're speaking to longevity, right? You're wanting to be with the person for as long as possible, right? Like we don't meet people with, okay, I'm only gonna know you for 2 months, unless you have manipulative and deceptive intent and you're using people. Right? You don't consciously tell yourself, I'm only going to be with you for a year. I'm only going to be with you for 3 months. You don't say stuff like that. The idea is that we experience a person, we meet a person, and we connect based on chemistry, right? And we connect consciously through compatibility, right? And having conversation about our values and our standards and our beliefs, because those are what make or break the stability and foundations of a relationship, not the surface level stuff, right? Not the stuff that gives us the chemistry, not the physical attraction, not the sexual attraction, not the you like this, I like it too, you have this hobby, I like that hobby, we have the same goals, you know what I'm saying? Unless they're things that reflect some stability and foundation for your future as well, not just things for the moment. But it's like, that's surface level things, right? That's what happens when we're not being conscious of relationship. We attract to people and get into relationship to people for surface level reasons. And then we wonder why things fall apart or things don't go well, because we never explore those more in-depth things, right? That actually determine our compatibility, right? And that takes conversation. Like, so I learned through trial and error and experience for myself. And so, you know, again, back to this Ten of Wands, like with exchange, like there are people who feel, right, at some point that they're carrying a heavier burden or a heavier load in a relationship or something like that, right? Like based on either not having communication, not having proper conversation about what's to be expected or your boundaries and things like that. So it's like if you don't have a knowledge of why you even want to be in a relationship or what you have to contribute to a relationship, the likelihood that you'll experience this kind of energy is higher. You know what I mean? If you don't have a conscious, clear understanding of what you have as far as capacity, I'm not talking about what you have as far as money, unless that's part of the agreement, right? When we talk about transactional relationships, that's a conscious agreement. If you say, I'm bringing in $100,000 in this relationship and you got $50,000 in the relationship and we building off of that, then that's what it is. And you know, that's part of the discussion. But it's like people don't necessarily have those transparent conversations like that. Like we use the attraction and the chemistry and the thrill, you know what I'm saying, that spark, we use that as the glue to the relationship when really that's not what it is. Okay? And if you're in it just for the benefit of having money or having this, like, I don't know, like people swear honesty is key, but people don't be honest. People don't be honest. So there be people who absolutely know what they're doing when they get into relationships with people and the things that they desire from that relationship. Like they know I'm gonna get with you because you got money. They know I'm gonna get with you because you're popular. They know I'm gonna get with you. They have that intention. They want to brag in some way, shape, or fashion about why they're with you or how they're with you or what they're going to gain while they're with you. And it has nothing to do with the actual love and support that we get into relationship to experience, right? Like health and harmony, right? Having a healthy, harmonious relationship that is supportive is the ultimate goal. Whether that's a platonic relationship, a family relationship, or a romantic relationship, right? The goal is to have a healthy, harmonious, supportive relationship, okay? And now if there's agreements set forth where it's like, we're going to make this money together, we're going to start this business, we're going to, have kids, we're going to get married, like those are actual conversations, but it's like you have to be honest about it, right? You have to be honest about it. Like, don't get into a relationship where you don't necessarily agree with things, right? That's one self-reflection that's very significant when you're doing shadow work. It's like, are you with a person and you agree with things that you don't necessarily agree? Are you being supportive with things that you don't really support just to say you're with somebody? That can make you feel like this too, because you're carrying energy, you're carrying beliefs, you're carrying values that you don't necessarily resonate with. So it makes you feel heavy. Yeah. Let's see, let me pull another card. Okay, on this energy right now. This is regular tarot. 6 of Cups. Yeah, like I said, like surface level, childlike, nostalgic kind of energy is what really makes us feel those, I don't want to say butterflies, but it's like, that innocent connection. Like there's an innocent connection that comes with relationship that we experience off the top, right? But then, if you look in the distance of this card, you see that there is a more mature person back there. Okay? Maturity comes with longevity and progressed time in relationship. Like we have to mature. Okay? We have to mature. We have to talk about the things that matter, right? Life insurance. Okay? Accounting and things like that. You know what I'm saying? We have to talk about what would happen if we got sick. What's going to happen with the kids? You know what I'm saying? How can I be there for you in your time of need when you experience some type of tragedy? Can you be emotionally present? Can you be emotionally vulnerable? Like the mature aspects of relationship matter. Okay, and we just can't run off of we've connected at our inner child, right? That's one thing. We connect with people based on in a childlike way, but we don't want to connect on a childish way either, right? Like some of us haven't understood that even though we can connect on a childlike level, we want to, bring out our inner child, you know what I mean? And it could be playful, it could be enjoyable, we can have a good time, it could be adventurous, but we want to grow and mature away from childish behavior too, though, right? Like shutting down and giving people the silent treatment when you can't communicate. See what I'm saying? But to be fair, there's a lot of trauma that goes into why we don't do certain things and why we do certain things in relationship based on our own upbringing and our past relationships that we've had. So this is why it's important to sit with yourself and have that isolation time and be single for a while so that you understand yourself and understand what you have to deal with and work through when you're triggered by another person. Right? Because it's one thing to be alone, but when you're with another person, they're going to trigger things out of you that you're not going to see or not going to come face to face with by yourself. So you have to know what your traumas are. You have to know what your wounds are. So if you're triggered, you can take a step back before you pop off on somebody or want to shut down in an immature kind of a way. Right? You have to mature. Relationships are growth. They're catalysts for growth. Hold on. What was that? Relationships are catalysts for growth. Strength card, Leo card. Right? Like they do make what they say, what don't kill you make you stronger. Like despite any kind of relationship that you've ever had, like we're meant to learn something from that and gain strength from that, a resilience from that, a tenacity from that. Okay? And relationships are meant to make us stronger. They're meant to help us see things about ourselves that nobody else can see. The more intimate you are in relationship with somebody, don't let us start talking about the sexual exchange, because that's a whole different thing. That adds a whole different element to the progression of healing and growth that happens in a relationship. And this may not apply to everybody, but people who are energetically sensitive and spiritually inclined, right? When you believe that sex is a form of marriage, okay? You are merging your energies together. And so what do you think is going to happen? Both positive and negative polarities are magnetized in that experience. Positive and negative. You exchange energies with a person. What kind of energy do you have? You have positive, negative. You have masculine, feminine. So y'all are exchanging that in that interaction and through that intercourse. So now you've magnetized this energy, and now you've progressed the process of something being born, some type of birth, some type of rebirth, right? Be it an actual child that you manifest, okay? Or some type of transformation that happens as individuals and as a couple, okay? And so when people, okay, because I've been seeing this post. Let me talk about this. Let me put these cards down, okay? I have been seeing this, it's like an interview or something. I haven't watched it, but every time I see it, it just like, it triggers me in some kind of a way to speak on it. Where it's like, we're talking about like people who like need sex. And here's the thing. This may not apply to everybody, but when you engage in intercourse with a person, right, it activates your energy in a very profound way. It's like it powers you up. Like it literally gives you some type of spark or energy, and it loosens, like, how can I say this? Like it loosens like any tensions. Like you may even feel it in your body physically, right? It loosens certain tensions and loosens certain energy in your body to clear way for some types of manifestation, right? And so unconsciously, people know this, right? Unconsciously, people have an inkling for this kind of interaction where it's like having that exchange of energy activates you, right? And then if that transaction or that exchange does not bring benefit, and this is what I was saying in the beginning, right? If you're going to use this information for ill intent, let you experience the equal consequence of that, because people will do this, okay? They know that by having another person's energy within them or exchanging that energy with them, there's going to be some type of positive benefit, be it the physical satisfaction, or they know that by having a connection with that person, they're going to experience some type of increase in their life. Like I said, it's a magnetizing energy, right? Sex is about magnetism, like that electromagnetism, masculine, feminine energy come together. You create a portal to pull energy in, okay? And people, like I said, people know this on an unconscious level, but there's people who know this consciously. So this is why they do it. They know they're going to get some type of beneficial increase in their life by exchanging energy with people on a surface level, but then also on a sexual level too, right? And so this is why people say like people will try to siphon your energy for this reason. Like that is what's happening, but you can't allow yourself to believe that this person has an ultimate power over you if you've had an experience where you've become aware of this, right? Nobody has an ultimate power over you. The exchange happens, people use it as benefit, but then if they do not actually have the equal capacity, right, of energy that you hold, like that's going to deplete, right? Or they're going to experience a crash out at some point, because they're taking energy or utilizing energy that they ultimately do not have the capacity to hold. So it's like, you know, I would just use this as an example. This is just a terrible example, but I'm use it. I'll use this. You light an incense and then it keeps going out, right? So you have to keep lighting it, right? That's how it is with sex with people. They get that spark, it goes out, they need another spark. It goes out, they need another spark. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't actually hold the capacity of light within themselves to keep that burn going, to keep that energy going, to keep that activation going. Okay? So, this is why you got to be careful. This is why you got to be mindful about who you choose to be in relationship with and why you even want to engage in that kind of activity with a person. What is the reason? Are you in it? I'm not even gonna look at this card yet. Are you in it for the connection and the experience of health and harmony and growth and longevity in relationship? Or do you just want the benefits? Or do you just want the benefits? This is the Three of Cups, right? Like, do you want to be harmonious and healthy together and enjoy something together or not? This is really the most divine purpose for a relationship or sexual relationship too. You want to be in love. You want to be in joy. You want to be in health with that person. You're not necessarily worried about what kind of economic, financial, social benefits you can get from it, because you know that there's no accident when we meet people, right? And again, if there's a conversation that needs to be had because there is something on the table as far as something you want to manifest together financially or business-like or whatever it may be, then that needs to be an open, honest conversation. You don't try to play with that though. You don't try to use and manipulate people's emotions, right? Knowing that people get connected, knowing that people get attached, right? Knowing that people have a sensitivity, you know what I'm saying? You don't do that. You don't, and people do that. That's what I'm saying. Like, but the karma comes. Okay, the karma comes. The karma comes eventually. Either they having a hard time within themselves, or their life is reflecting the fact that they use people for their energy, and they use people for, you know, their peace. They use people for that sense of stability that people had. And it's not even something that has to do with money or finances and economics. Like, people will be with others because they have a stable sense of like joy in their life or peace in their life. Like, they're secure in that kind of a way. So they'll want to be connected to get a piece of that security that somebody has. Okay. But a fair exchange and an equal exchange, you don't need a person to do that, right? You don't need a person to fill your void. You don't need a person to you know, transactional relationship, you know, it's supposed to be an equal exchange. You don't go into a relationship with lack and then expect another person to compensate for you. The first card that I pulled was the Ten of Wands, right? That's where that energy comes from. You come in with lack, and then you expect somebody else to pick up the slack. That's not fair. That's not harmony. That's not balance. That's what I see. That's not balance. Like I said, the karma comes around. The relationship may end. You experience the loss. There will be a betrayal because somebody's not fulfilled enough, right? They feel like they're not getting enough because they got into the relationship trying to get something out of it. I just saw another video about the woman that sued the person for cheating with the husband or something like that. She got like over $1 million. Okay. What they call it I didn't even know this was a thing. Alienation of affection, right? Like, that's what they called it. Like, she sued for alienation of affection. Whereas, like, if somebody's not actually fulfilled in their relationship, they go seek that out in somewhere else because they never came into the relationship whole and wanting to experience that person, you know, as is. They were coming to get something. And that shit hurts. That shit hurts on both ends. On the innocent person's end at that, the person that goes into the relationship with the belief, right? And with the understanding that we're going to be together and we're going to come in here equal and we're going to grow together and we're going to learn together and we're going to evolve together. And then somebody steps out because they went into the relationship with lack, right? They lied about why they even wanted to be together, or at some point down the line when things shift and change as they do, they didn't communicate clearly, honestly, about what was changing within them, whether it was a need to separate from the relationship, where there was a need for something else from their current partner. They weren't able to communicate. So betrayal happens, loss happens, endings happen. Right? Are you seeking relationship and wanting to be in a relationship solely for benefits? Or do you want to experience a person? Do you want to experience life with a person? Right? Benefits can come with that. Right? Benefits can come with that. When you're pure of heart and you have pure intention, sure, all types of it. You could have more money. You could build a bigger family. Right? You could have more adventures and more experiences together. Right? Like, there's benefits. But if you're coming into the relationship solely for the transaction, to get that energy, And if the energy's not fulfilling no more, I'm just gonna leave. Like, oh, this is why I appreciate people who are upfront from the get-go. Like, this is all I want. And then you get to make the decision to be like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna deal with you. You know what I mean? You gotta have that confidence. What I do, strength part. You gotta have that strength within yourself, where when you're dealing with a person and they put something on the table as far as an agreement or something that they stand for, and if you don't agree with that, you gotta have the strength. You gotta have your discernment, right, to be like, nah, I'm not with that. You gotta be like, nah, I'm not with that, and walk away. You don't want to shortchange yourself in a relationship. This is what you want. You want this. Peace.